You're watching Education for Health Professional Regulators of Ontario, colleges under the Regulated Health Professions Act. Richard Steinica is a senior partner of Steinica Mikura LeBlanc, and he practices exclusively in the area of professional regulation. Richard is a noted author of the Complete Guide to the Regulated Health Professions Act, which, because of its comprehensive nature, has been cited by courts and tribunals, even in cases dealing with non-health professions. Marshall Molesky is the past president of the Federation of Health Regulatory Colleges of Ontario, and he serves as Chief Executive Officer and Registrar of the Ontario College of Pharmacists. Join Marshall and Richard now as Marshall poses a number of important questions on behalf of those of us who want to know more about regulating healthcare practitioners in Ontario.
What are some of the other fiduciary duties of council and committee members?
Well, some of the other fiduciary duties that foster effective service by members of council and committee include diligence, including being fully prepared, respect, including courtesy and civility to colleagues, and just generally ethics, including integrity and honesty.
What are some of the ways in which council and committee members can demonstrate diligence?
It starts with training and orientation, and there are a lot of resources, including what we're doing right now. The Federation also has some discipline training, discipline hearing training that could be used. And then for individual meetings, you need to prepare for those meetings. You need to review the materials. If you identify anything that's missing, you need to call up and say, I think I'm missing something. And you need to identify what the issues are and consider them in advance of the meeting. Then you have to make sure that you come to the meetings you commit to being there for. Late cancellation can cause complete havoc to the college's ability to protect the public and make good decisions. And you need to be there on time to be diligent. You also need to participate in the discussions to ensure that all reasonable perspectives are articulated at the meeting. And then you need to vote. If there is an abstention, if you don't vote, that means that the system has not worked. You need to, if there's a conflict of interest, you'd be leaving the room. But other than that, you should have the information you need to make the decision and be ready to make that decision when the vote comes. Or else ask for more time. Then, if you have commitments, you need to follow up on those commitments. If you have to write reasons for decision, you need to do those promptly. Or if you committed to do research or to make an inquiry, you need to do that as well. There is some discussion about whether diligence requires a duty for you to be competent. Is it enough to have an honest belief in what you're voting for, or do you actually have to be both honest and competent to make the decision? And the standard has been changing, and there's more and more expectation that you need to be competent. So if you are not comfortable in the area under discussion, you need to seek additional information. You might need to call in a consultant to provide an opinion or further information to you. And you might need to acknowledge that you're not sure about what these issues are about in order to be diligent in making that decision.
Richard, when I hear you say that council and committee members need to be respectful, I worry that this is a code word for don't rock the boat. Is that what you really mean?
For sure, no. Sometimes the most effective and respectful council and committee members do rock the boat. But it's how you rock the boat that counts. So you always can be courteous, and you can also always be civil. The tone of how you ask the question or make the comment can be very courteous and respectful. And paying attention. If you are checking your mobile device while there's a discussion, that's being disrespectful. So it does not require agreement or consensus. You do need to sometimes challenge that the information that you're being given isn't sufficient. You do sometimes need to challenge a comment that's been made that is inappropriate. Perhaps that is a comment that appears to be reflecting the self-interest of the profession. But you also need to be respectful, to genuinely listen and consider other people's perspectives and not make up your mind before arriving to make the decision. Now, some councils and even some committees have rules of order, and those are simply a tool to facilitate discussion and to facilitate decision making, and it should not be confining the decision making, and you should feel comfortable in disregarding a rule of order where it is not helping you to make a good decision. The clear goal for any rules of order is to have a clear issue put before the committee or the council, have a clear decision made, have participation by all those who want to participate and not just by the passionate few, and that a decision is made that is informed and not challengeable because it's unclear.
The media is full of stories where those who serve the public appear to have acted without integrity, bringing discredit to themselves and to their organizations. What sort of unethical behavior can arise in the college context?
There are a number of things that could arise that show that the council committee member is not above reproach. So that has to be the image that's being conveyed. So small things like expense and compensation claims, exaggerating your preparation time, claiming something that you didn't actually expend, that can be very damaging to you and to the college. Personal use of college property or even use of college staff to do personal research for you is inappropriate. And any statements that you make need to be factually accurate and honest. So if someone says, what do you do in your practice? You should discuss what you actually do in your practice, not what you think that they expect that you do in your practice. Or if you say, I'm absent for a meeting, you should be honest as to why you're absent. You should also not be subject to inappropriate influence by others. You should avoid giving even the perception that you have been lobbied by a stakeholder, such as a professional association. You should not attempt to improperly influence anyone. So if the ICRC is making a decision about someone you know, you shouldn't try to influence that decision. And after a decision is made by the council or a committee that's public, your discussions with others must fairly and accurately describe the decision made and not mischaracterize it because you might disagree with it.
Thank you.